Hey friends, Editing Amanda here. I am just popping in on the front of this video just to let you guys know that my computer, not this one, my other computer crashed on me mid-edit on this video, and so I had to restart it and then the video crashed again. So I actually had to purchase a new laptop for editing purposes. This one is just new to me, but it's a refurbished computer, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I was MIA for the purposes of getting a new laptop, and I'll be uploading again here weekly, if not twice a week, depending on what the season allows. But I'll let you guys go ahead and get into the video. Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back. I am getting ready to start shoveling all of my soil. I did a delivery. Well, my brother-in-law and my sister both brought some soil. It's a mixture of mushroom compost and some topsoil. I went ahead and talked to the company that I'm working with, it's Bizax, here in Cincinnati, and they told me that if I'm going to be filling raised beds, it'd be best to do a mixture of the compost and the topsoil. So that is what I got. I got 2 yards of it. So hopefully I did my math correctly, because I need to fill, well, not this guy, but both of my 6 foot long by 3 feet by 1 foot beds with soil, as well as two 2 foot by 2 foot beds. And I'm gonna see if I want to go ahead, and I have 2 other Greenstalks that I need to fill up with soil. I have another one that is the leaf planter, like this one here, and then I have one that is the original planter, which is a deeper pocket. That's the one I'm going to be planting with tomatoes. And then up there I have a couple of different planters that need to be filled with some soil. I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure that I'll have quite a few feet left over of my compost mixture, so that I can go ahead and refresh these beds here, as well as a few of these pots that I have. But I need to get started. I do not have a wheelbarrow or a way of really like moving the soil, so I think I'm going to be doing it by the bucket. So we'll see how that goes. But I need to get started. It is getting kind of late, and I've already waited a few days. Yesterday was tax day here in the US, so taxes were due, and I of course left it to the very last minute. Thanks, sister, for the help. But I need to get started on getting the soil put into these beds, so I know what I'm working with, and I can go ahead and start really planning. As you guys can see, I've made a dent in my soil pile. My boyfriend came out and he's just like, what are you gonna do with all the soil? And I was like, I made measurements. I took measurements. I know exactly how much I need. I did get a little extra just because I was getting a full 2 yards instead of 1.6 or 1.7 or something like that. But all of that extra soil is gonna have a place in my garden. I'm gonna go ahead and potentially top some of these beds and give them a refresh. I already did that with some bagged compost on the brassica bed, which is doing really awesome. A lot of those broccolis popped back to life once they got some fresh soil and nutrients. But I'm gonna have enough soil to fill all of my beds. I have this one completely finished. Super excited to get this planted out. I have some of my medicinal herbs on there. I have the hoary hound and then the St. John's wort. Both of them I still don't quite have a full understanding of what I'm going to be using them for. I just know they are medicinal in properties, and I know the hoary hound can be used to make candy. But both, I know the St. John's wort is a perennial in my zone. I'm not quite sure about the hoary hound, but we'll get there once we come across that bridge. But I'm gonna get started filling this bed. It takes a couple trips with my bucket thing that I'm using to fill it up. I'm trying to fill the bottom portion of these beds with more of the clumpier parts of the soil, and then put the really nice fine stuff on the top, just so it makes for an easier time with planting things once it is time to actually plant those guys out. Sometime here soon I need to actually get this leveled, just because it's not watering quite correctly. I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to have to actually physically move where it is located in my garden, just so that it's on ground that's actually level, because right now it's not quite level. I have it on some bricks so that if it were to puddle around there, it wouldn't get clogged or anything. Yeah, I'm super excited. I am envisioning everything that can be and will be in this garden. I did try testing out my cattle panel to see how it would look as an arch trellis, and I think I got the wrong size. I think I was supposed to get the 16-foot cattle panel, but I got the 8-foot. So I don't think the 8-foot is quite long enough. I did get 3 cattle panels, so maybe I can like zip tie 2 together to make the arch, and use one as my trellis wall for the tomatoes. I don't know. We'll see once we get there. It's not quite time to be planting out my warm weather crops just yet. It is April 19th. My last frost is April 24th. So we are getting really close. Typically though, we don't plant things out until Mother's Day. So I don't know how many more times I can tell you guys that Mother's Day is it for here in Ohio in Zone 6. I am thoroughly exhausted. As you can see, I am covered in dirt. I fell in the dirt and I'm okay, but I fell in it. I got both of my big long 6-foot long beds filled. I got my Greenstalk filled, which may or may not be a mistake. All of the research on their website says to use a really high quality potting mix or potting soil. So I may end up having to like change this out next season. I'm gonna go ahead and try it this season. I have my other Greenstalk that I'm gonna go ahead and fill up and show you guys how I'm doing that. Not today, another day. But I put a huge dent in that pile of soil, and I think I have it set up pretty much how I want it. Oh, I got the bag, 2-foot by 2-foot garden bed up there filled, and those 2 long black ones filled with soil. But I've got a little archway there on those 2 beds. So I've got the archway, the old one that I had from last season. I cleared it up, got rid of the 2 bottom layers, so it would have been taller, but it's perfectly fine. I fit through it. On these 2 beds, not quite sure what I'm going to be planting in these just quite yet, but that archway is up. I just know that I am thoroughly exhausted. I need a shower. I've got dirt on my face. My fingernails look so good. If I went to go get my nails done, they'd probably have a coronary. That's okay. I don't like using gloves. So we are getting so close to planting things out in the garden. I have a lot of things that I need to go ahead and pull. I have a bunch of weeds, and the things inside are just dying to get out. All of my pepper plants are super huge. Tomato plants are pretty much about the same, even with that setback of the soil, which, by the way, they are doing fantastic. They bounced back perfectly. There's no more yellowing, no more purpling, which are both the nitrogen and the phosphorus deficiencies. It's perfectly fine now. They're growing beautiful leaves, tall. I have been having issues with my electricity, which the pleasures of living in a rental property. So I've been trying to figure out how, well, I haven't been able to keep a fan on them quite consistently as I would like. And using a fan on your seedlings really just ensures that they have a stronger stalk. And then once you bring them outside, they're not gonna just flop over and die. Well, flop over. But there's one concern. One concern is that they won't have strong enough stalks, but they should be okay. I think some of my tomato plants I can actually turn into 2 liters by chopping off the top of it. That'll give them stronger stalks as well, because then the plants will be forced to put energy towards the stalk. So maybe I'll try doing that here shortly. We'll see. But I think the plan is that this bed next to me right here is going to be my tomato bed again. I'm going to actually use the cattle panel to make a vertical trellis, so that I can then like clip my tomato plants too. And I think that'll be a good use of that space. I might, depending on what happens with the trellis, the arch trellis that I want to put like right over my head, I'm either going to put 2 vertical trellises in this bed right here, or I will have to use 2 of those cattle panels to make a arch, by like zip tying them together. I really have no way of getting I think the 16-foot long cattle panel was the cattle panel that I needed in order to make that really nice big archway. But I really didn't have a way of getting the 8-foot here, which is why I had my brother-in-law drop it off when he got the soil. But that's okay, we'll make things work. I mean, driving a sedan, I don't really have many options, and I'm not gonna put things on top of my car because that'll just scratch it. But we have another day of working outside, getting my hands awfully dirty, and I'm just like putting it all over my face. But it was a really awesome day to be outside. It felt so good. I hope you guys are having such a wonderful week. I hope the weather is good where you are. If not, it's coming. Well, I guess depending on where you are in the world. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited for you guys to be along with me on this journey of planting out the garden. It's gonna be so incredible. I really am having imposter syndrome. Simply for the fact that, I mean, if you look at my garden right now, it doesn't look like much, but I can see it in my head. I can see the arches and all of the beautiful plants and textures and colors. It's gonna be so phenomenal, and I'm so excited to be sharing it with you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll go ahead and pop a video up here if you guys want to go ahead and enjoy that until the next time. But until then, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.